Okay, so I feel like I'm kind of tired. So if I seem out of it, I really feel tired. Like my eye, like I just want to go to sleep. I was like, I need to do this before I go to sleep because I don't know. I keep feeling like I don't know. Everything is moving weird. Time is moving weird. I don't. There's just everything seems weird. Like things that gotta be about to shift. I don't know if it seems really weird to other people, but it sure seems weird to me. And um, and just going on TikTok is weird too. Like it's weird. Everything is weird. So I haven't been on there that much, so I don't really know tons of stuff going on. Things that I had seen was like the same things. People talking about all the young people off of Nickelodeon who grew up watching those channels. They're all, watching that stuff and being just outraged, it seems. So there's a lot of attention on that. It's got a lot of people talking, which is, gets people uh, the truth. Because some of the stuff, when we started saying it to people, and they thought we seemed so crazy, and now all this stuff is coming out. And I'm not even going to go into my kids, like, see, I'm not going to say anything like that. Um, just be like, just let them see it for themselves and feel whatever, all their feelings that they're going to feel. Oh, I paid my next payment on my surgery, so I'm so excited. 2 payments left. And then, and it's really just a matter of weeks. I think it's like 8 weeks. So I'll have to check and make sure, but I think it's 8 weeks. So it's like a countdown now. So I can't wait. And, and I have this show on my mind too. Maybe it was just because it emotionally drained me. Because that is one thing too, is I keep being super, super emotional about everything. Like, oh my God, like I can feel it so deep inside of me. And Amy had told me about this show that they were watching that she said was good called The Lost Flowers of Alice Hart. And it's on Prime. And so I started watching it. So it's got some violence, like domestic violence, like it's got some of that so it can be really triggering. But it's like when you need to, sometimes watching that kind of stuff, you need those triggers. You need to go in and like watch the experience play out without your feelings, because then you watch stuff happen to other people. It is like, I don't know, it brings up like so much empathy and compassion. And it just gives you a different look, because I think a lot of people in this situation judge themselves and stuff. So when you can go in and watch stuff play out, it just brings up a lot of stuff. In this show, it's off of a book. Like there's a book too, and it's I think it's like 6 hours, like a short series or something. And it was so good, because it had, well, for one thing, it's really pretty. It's Australian. And so, but the cinematography and the way, I don't know who it is that does it, like the uh the things you look at, like maybe it is the cinematography. uh Is that who it is? I don't know. See, I'm feel tired. I'm feel out of it. But anyways, it's really beautiful looking. And it's got so much more deeper spiritual meaning to me. Like it had a lot of deep concepts in it. And I thought it did so good. Um I was trying to think of, there was a few parts where I was crying, like I could really feel this other person's pain. And sometimes just being humiliated yourself for some other situation, and you see somebody being humiliated for a completely different thing, and you can feel that feeling. So that's why, sometimes those shows can be very releasing. But in this one too, it was Sigourney Weaver's character, she she just like, it's kind of like people like, all the time when I'm watching these things, I can always see so much more deeper spiritual stories at play. But a lot of people that they're hiding all the time because of their fears. So they protect themselves. And so, some people protect themselves through lies and manipulation. And so that's what this person did. And then it made her sick. And that is what I have said so much. You got to deal with your stuff or it'll make you sick. You can't hide stuff. You can't trick yourself. Nothing. It will eat you alive. It will eat you up inside. And then it's weird too, because then, we've all these parasites in us, and it's kind of like we create a biohazardous environment internally through our pain and suffering that we bring onto ourselves, because it is super creative. And one thing too that I noticed is, and I don't mean this mean to anybody, it's just something that, I've noticed, is that when some people get sick, like everything that we do, everything that happens to us, there's two directions, always. You can go towards love, or you can go towards sadness, defeated, feeling bad. There's a whole barrage of darkness that you could go in that direction. The other direction, you have to go into like trust and faith and believing in yourself, like this conquer, like a conquest, like you can do it, nothing's going to keep you down. And so everything that happens in life, it is like we are always making those choices. And every day we get up, we have an opportunity to make one of those choices each day. And so no matter if you have had a pattern of always being defeated, you can change your patterns. It's through awareness and through desire. And so when people come into sickness, some people go into very, not just poor me, but it is almost like they don't deserve to live anyways. Like it's like they keep their pain and their stuff trapped so deep in them. It's like a prison, like you imprison yourself. You put yourself to death. Especially the more I come to understand about aging and death and stuff. Like I thought that stuff was real until, I started learning more about like how our minds do this, and our minds create the reality, and aging isn't real, and how we're just watching people will themselves to death, just surrender, give up. And it is that what I keep talking about is like they all go towards this darkness. They don't go towards this like, oh, I can do it, I can get through it. It's like this darkness has got a hold on them, and it just pulls them down and pulls them down. And because there's a lot of people who are sick. A lot of people. I saw. Oh, that was one of the things I just bawled this morning off of, was a Reddit story that keeps being shared all over the place. I couldn't even listen to the whole thing, and I was bawling. Uh, I think it might be off Twitter. I don't even know where else being shared, but is somebody who has been sick the whole time. When they talk about like what they are going through and what they've been through, and then the rejection and how they feel. And oh my God, it's heartbreaking. Like I said, this is what is to come. This is what is coming. I've been saying that and saying that. And it's going to even be bigger. And the people who treat them that way, this is showing those people, like they seem like dicks or whatever, but it is going to show them when the lights come on, when the awakening occurs, it's going to show them that side of themselves. That's the thing. And so there's a bigger thing going on. There's a lot of like dirty stuff in people that has to be purged out. And it is like this, when things flip, it is like they're going to see like this side of themselves, like this hateful side of themselves. And, you know, and I don't know, uh, you know, I, I don't know if like some of these people are like, they're in little groups. I mean, to feel like you're, I don't know, just like look at, like I think about the two things, like just how our society's playing out. The ego people, the pure bloods, the chosen, the 144, the exceptional, the you know, they is all they do, and you know all these other NPCs and stuff like that. And then you have these people who, you know, are waking up, who woke up to the decisions they made and having to go through that whole process. And I had to wake up to medical stuff. So, yeah. And I had that perspective also of even working in the business. So I had to wake up to all that shenanigans. And there's a lot of stuff to wake up to. And I don't know. I think that people who get so judgmental and hateful are distracting themselves from their own stuff. But that is what is going to be shown to them. I just feel so sure. Is when things turn, they're going to see such a hateful side of themselves. And then you're going to have a whole bunch of people who are going to see such an egotistical side of themselves. And then there's going to be people who are going to see too, like, oh my gosh, you mean aging is fake, like dying is fake, like all that stuff is fake. And look at how I just surrender to it. Like to not, there's so many different things inside of people to wake up to connect to. Like there's a lot going on. So, and you know, it's just kind of getting going. Well, I think it's kind of like it's getting ready to go. Like it's like pulling everything tight, and then it's gonna just like flip, because it really feels like everything is being pulled tight or something. But it's going to, you know, flip the other direction. In that little video I showed, it was cool, like in the little visual thing, how it, like had the thing going in and out and stuff, because that is how the energy works, of how it goes from light to dark. And then it is like an extended version. Like we're writing out an extended, like this going from dark to light. But you can see how, you know, how like the dark works, how insidious it is, how intoxicating it is, how it is like hell. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah. It's like, but see, that is, well, a lot of different things. So, and because you could say is when people get to come and experience certain things, but there's just, I don't know, there's like more to it. There's more than just, it is, it's like a part of everything. To even see how deep and dark people can go is still something that the universe, you know, like you think of your, so if you think of like the universe as being like a consciousness, like us being a representation of a consciousness, and the super consciousness of the universe, that is like the same as us. We're just a smaller version. It's like micro, macro. It's like an expansion, or it's like an ascension or a descension, depending on which direction you're going. But it's all a gradation from one source. That must be like why they say source. But to me is you are, think about for yourself, like how your mind works and, you know, the things that you want to understand and stuff. So the universe wants to understand all that stuff. The universe wants to understand itself. And so it has no shame on itself. So even the dirtiest, darkest things, like, it is still, it's not like judged by the universe. Like, the thing that holds you back isn't that kind of stuff. It is your vibration. If you're high vibration and you do that, like, it would be, you would go through the experience, would be very different. Like, depending on your vibration, every experience you go through would be very different. But anyways, that is what you're all about, is your vibration. It doesn't really, the things that we've done, like, we've all killed people, we've all, like, done horrible things. Like, there's no telling, like, how horrible the things we've all done. I mean, usually it seems like you were put into a situation. You know what I was thinking even? Because I see 17 so much. 17, 17, 17, 11, 17, 117. My daughter's at, like, all of this stuff was, I see it all the time. When I'm driving, it's like this number that comes to me constantly. And I was thinking, I wonder if that is something to do with, like, the template. Like, whatever template we come in to play out, if that has something to do with that. I don't know. I found it so curious because, like, there's certain numbers where it feels like it's different kinds of communication. But the way the 17 keeps coming up to me all the time and how it comes up and stuff, I started thinking, like, I wonder if it's like a whole group of people playing a certain role in this template. Like, we're all playing roles, but like a number, like, I don't know. I mean, it sounds weird, but, like, I don't know. Like, we go into a library, I'm going to play template whatever out, because everything seems to me that that's what it is. The same way as, like, when we play games, we have game pieces and the whole thing. It seems similar to me, but everything is about learning and growing and evolving and advancing and stuff. And so, yeah, the universe, like, doesn't judge you because it is you. So, but as the smaller aspects of consciousness have got to go through the learning how to not judge themselves in order to be in a state of connection, kind of. So it's like you have to, in order to reach that state of being in the whole, you have to reach a point of not judging yourself, because how can you be connected to beings or things that you don't see worthy or see, you know what I'm saying? So it keeps you divided. Like, these people who stay so divided on like immigration and stuff like that, which is really getting to me too, is, for one thing, they put a bunch of crocodiles or alligators in the Rio Grande, which I think is some bullshit, or some other bodies of water that are having alligators show up. There's a fucking, in the Mississippi, there is a 72-foot snake swimming around the bottom of it. I'm telling you, there's creatures out there, like, all over the place. But now it's getting to that absurd, like, no, there's alligators. And I swear to God, I could not believe this footage. It looked like, it said that this was a family floating the river. The river, by where they looked, it looked like, like over by where we were in Spokane, it has this part of the river where you're going by and there's houses and stuff. And so it looked kind of like that. Like, there was some houses, and it is like, it's like the woman has the video thing. She's filming. I got the husband over here, which you don't see him. So he must be by the wife. But you get, maybe you see his feet or something. I don't know. You hear his voice. And then with them in their little thing, they've got a little girl. I don't know, she's maybe 11 years old or something. And then there's 3 boys, and they're a little bit further away, not like super far, but a little bit further. One of the boys is in the water, and one of the boys is on a floaty, and one of the boys is on a floaty. A fucking crocodile or alligator goes by, so fucking huge. It was huge. It had to be 15 foot. It was so fucking big. And the kid starts saying something, and the little girl starts getting all upset and like, oh my gosh, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. And the dad's like, oh, stop it. Alligators are scared of you. They're not going to do anything to you. I couldn't believe it. I like had to do a video, and in the video, like all these people like in Florida and places where there's alligators were all coming on and saying like, no, you don't go swimming in the water by alligator, and people's kids go missing and stuff all the time. People's like, where in the what in the world reality does this guy come from? The alligators, there's nothing to worry about, and you just got your like one kid fucking right there, and there's one alligator, and you're just like, okay, well, it's probably all there is. I was in the motherfucking water with my kids. I'd be like, everybody out of the water. We're out. Let's go. No fucking way. There's an alligator in here. We're all going to get eaten. You know, I remember this happened in to a family in Spokane. I can't remember the whole thing. There was like so many people were connected. Like it was like the talk all over the place. Everywhere you went, somebody knew somebody in the family. Somebody was connected to the situation. And it was a family who had gone over to Africa. It was like the mom and the dad and a couple of kids. I remember one of the kids, of course, because she didn't get to come home. But it seemed like that they had 3 or 4 kids. And, but I don't know, it could have been less. But so they were on a boat. And I guess apparently nobody knew she was on her period. And they think that the alligator smelled the blood. And so it came over and just jolted up, grabbed her off the boat, took her down, and was gone. And she was like, I think she was like between 16 and 18 or something like that. She could have been like 15. She was like a teenager kind of girl. And, oh my God, it was so, oh God, it was really tragic. And, so anyways, and that happened a long time ago. Geez, my kids were pretty young then. I don't remember how old. I just remember how traumatizing it was, and it being on vacation and stuff. And I'm scared to death of alligators anyways. I don't know. I've probably been eaten by them before because they come in my dreams and stuff even. They're scary as shit. But I could not believe to a point where I was like, are these people trying to get their kids killed? Like, are they trying to, like, what? Look at that. Oh, no. There's a lot of weird shit lately. Like, people driving into the ocean and just weird thing after weird thing I keep seeing. And weird sky things. Like, all this stuff just keeps building and building. And this intensity with the people and stuff. Like, oh, my gosh. Everything seems, like, super intense. But anyways, let me think, because that was, so there was something, it seemed like there was something else that was gonna talk about was something, that I had seen. I can't remember though. I have things going all the time where it's like, oh, I should talk about that. I should talk about that. And then I forget when I come. But in that movie, there was a bunch of other things I wanted to talk about from that movie, because there was some really cool things that they did. Like when the one lady was dying, that she was leaving her body. Because this happened with my dad. He was, when he was dying, and he kept leaving his body, and then he would come back in, and being a nurse and stuff and being around people, when that goes down, they'll start to people who aren't in your room. All sorts of things happen. And but they're always going to other places, just like NDEs. They're just, their consciousness is shifting in and out. But it's trippy because they will see things. Like my dad saw things and talked about stuff. Uh, even stuff with me, as my stepmom told me. And it was like confirmation stuff and the stuff he said and everything. And in this one, it was really cool because her granddaughter wasn't speaking to her over. There's like so much fucking drama in this that just shows that generational trauma, like how it keeps going, how we stay dysfunctional. We stay dysfunctional by not talking about things, by turning a blind eye, just ignoring things, wanting to hide things. Like, we got to be more truthful and honest. And, that's a healing society. Like, people can't heal. People get sick and die. You can't keep secrets. And so when the lady is dying, she goes out of her body, and it doesn't show that part. It just makes it clear that she's going and watching where her granddaughter is. And so she's seeing where her granddaughter is and what her granddaughter is doing right then. And I thought, that is so true. That is very accurate, I think, is how it works. Like, your consciousness is going out, kind of is going and checking on things and going, like, is going and doing things for the people who have like the slower deaths. But the whole thing too, there's so much to this act of dying. Like, there's so much to this surrender in our states of consciousness, of programming, of them being able to make us be sick. And, but man, I see it over and over and over with people who are sick. Like, there's people who are sick who are healing their sickness, who are just going at it full speed ahead, doing everything they can. And those people, are learning their own power. And then there's the other group, and is just like, they just want someone to care about them. They just want someone to make them feel better. They just want somebody's attention. They just, like, there's this neediness, this desperation, this sadness. And a lot of people have that. I think personally, like dying, this act of dying is that, there's probably an aspect of where we all go into it feeling beat down, let down, sad, but we have to go and pull ourselves free from that and move into that other energy. And it must be where the one people, they just keep themselves there. They don't know how to pull free. And that pulling out and pulling free, to me, that is when you're changing timelines. You know how people are constantly you're jumping timelines. Oh, you're going to go on different. I swear to God, there's people every motherfucking day. They record, oh, how you doing today? We jumped timelines again. Are you on your best timeline? And it's like, dude, how do you even go out and say that? Like, do you even have any awareness of what is going on in different people's lives and stuff? Like, go tell everybody you're on your best timeline. You just jump timelines and stuff. Whatever you did is what you did. Don't tell everybody that's what they did. They have got their own experience to wrap their heads around. So it drives me crazy, those people who do that all the time. So anyways, but that to me is the timeline jumping. That is when you, like, on a sickness, so you just can't break free from that beat down victim, feel sorry for yourself. Things never get better. It's always so hard. And I think it is what leads to the death. It is like a surrender. It's like I hate myself. I'm not happy with myself. I'm never good enough. There's like so much of that associated with the sickness and the way that people, how we, we go in and out of lives and stuff is, this is just one experience. So it's not like that it is, it isn't like like, but we put way too much weight on it. Like, we put way too much pressure on everything. We think it's so much bigger than what it is. It's so much like it matters so much more than what it really does. Like, there's so much stuff. Just like, to me, it's like your whole conscious being. Like, again, on the micro macro. Like, we get so hyper focused on things that, I think are like a sneeze to the bigger scheme of things. I think that we get too small, and when you get too small, it is like it's like a part of you that is selfish. It's this same part that wants to be sick. It's this part of you that needs attention. It needs somebody to come in and lick you and pull the lice out of your hair or something. It needs all this little like, oh, you're okay, you're okay. Like it needs that or something. And so it's not like you can ever do anything wrong, but I mean, sometimes this is what it's about, and it isn't. It's not like we've grown to fear sickness in a way that we shouldn't fear sickness. It really is a soul's process to self-discovery, of understanding and processing itself. We've just got to get a lot more into understanding that the brief moment in time that we're capturing is just 1 second for the soul. The soul is so much more bigger. And so you can't just be like, it's like you're nitpicky. You're nitpicky to yourself. You are, and then you're so nitpicky to yourself that you beat yourself down, and then you're whiny about it, and then you want other people to make you feel better. That's kind of like the real thing, if you really want to look at it for what it is. If you really want to see what you're doing in the cold bones of it, like, you want to see the toxic parts of it. Because we don't want to think about those things. We don't want to think about what it is we're trying to do and what it is we're trying to take from others to make ourselves feel better. All we're trying to do is just focus on the feel better, feel better, feel better. Everybody else feels good. Just me, I don't feel good. Like that can put you off on a whole spin out on feeling sorry for yourself. There's so many things. Like, there's every possibility here in this place to give you to spin out on feeling sorry for yourself. As it is, life is hard, and life is full of disappointments, and life is full of sad shit, and challenges and lessons, and that's what it's all about. So it's not wrong to feel beat down by it. It's not wrong to feel let down sometimes. Those are your emotions that you got to go through. You got to process, and you got to feel them, not judge them, and not be angry at yourself because you have them. Like, I don't know. I think there's some people who think like, well, if you're spiritual, you have to be perfect or something. No, you don't. How is that accepting of yourself? By restricting yourself into perfection. And who's the one to decide what is perfect? Who are you trying to please? Who's the ruler? Who's the one making the decisions? That is impossible. There is no perfection. There is existence. And the more pressure you put on yourself to try and create perfection, the more it is a creation of, is like a self-indulgence. It is the same thing with the sickness, same thing with all these things. It's the same thing of like, gimme, 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 feel sorry for me, look at me. Like, it's just all about me, all about me, all about me. And that is where we've got to pull out of that kind of stuff, even with sickness, even with all of the things, because look at how it affects our society. And it is really just a state of consciousness. It's a state of consciousness that is like, needs something and is going around about a toxic way about getting it. But anyways, but this is, when all the light comes in to expose the dark. And, the dark is, going through that is what creates the change. So the dark creates the light. Like, it all has to work together. You can't have one without the other. They don't make sense without each other. They're the match made in heaven, the light and the dark. They need each other to create balance, to create. Well, it really is like, it's like the creation of all existence through the light and the dark, through the opposing forces, through the two different connections, kind of like an acceptance of a perspective. It's like, once you can accept all sides of yourself, that is when you are ready to go level up. As that was the thing, is so many people are trying to force relationships, and they think like that's their answer. But it's that forcing something. It just is, you can't force something good. You force lessons. You just create lessons for yourself. And in that show too, as this was like, oh my gosh. So the girl, I don't want to tell the whole story or anything, so I don't want to tell a whole bunch of the stuff. But this girl, whose dad was abusive, and it's like a thick storyline. Like, there's a lot to it, and I don't want to mess it up, because it really was good. Like, there's parts where you're like, what is going on here? Like, it's very confusing. I love that. Where it's like, it's a mind teaser, a brain teaser. It has your mind firing all cylinders, trying to figure out like, what's happening? Well, what is going, it's really good. I liked it. There was one part where I felt like they didn't make something clear, where they kind of just like let it fall off, where I thought they should have gave that a little more clarity, but I don't know, maybe I missed a part. But anyways, one thing that I thought was really, really good, because when she met this guy, it was like a total chance meeting. Meeting. And then to run back into each other. And then this instant connection. And so she, like, I don't know, they were just in love, like, immediately. And I think spending all their time together, sleeping at the same place and stuff. And then, she thought, that this was her soulmate or something. And it was like so quick. He turned into her dad. And then she just wanted to ignore the red flags. And I saw so many things playing out. Like, this growth of her mom extended through her, how also a girl's judgment of her mom keeps her in blindness of her own, because she doesn't see the patterns. Also, how the universe has these lessons it has to go through those different beings, and how we have to heal these different things, because we can't see before us. Like, our daughters can't see before them. So everything has to go together in this link, this chained event of healing and processing. So I could see that clearly. And, but the way how the universe works, see there, I fell for this. I thought, because that is how things would happen to me. I thought, well, the universe is bringing me this person. This is my soulmate. This is the person who's come to rescue me. This is the person who's going to love me, all that kind of stuff. But I didn't love myself. And I didn't know that. Like, I didn't realize that. Like, there was so many things I didn't know. It really is a journey to self. So there was all these things that I didn't realize and I didn't know. And so I, went with them. And then you get the red flags and all that stuff. And there's just so much more going on. There's a lot of things. Like I said, that was just all the different things playing out. But there's so many different things with lessons and stuff. And even with one thing too is sometimes people who become super obsessed with somebody, like an instantaneous love, where it's just like, I love you. Um, that can scare them. And then that triggers fear and loss and abandonment. And what if this person leaves me? What will I do? And they will turn kind of ugly and mean towards the person, try and ridicule them and put them down to keep them in place so that this person won't leave them, because they're so scared this person's going to leave them. And it can turn so toxic. And these things, and the things, of the fear of abandonment, the fear of rejection and stuff, those are sad things, but they turn into toxic behaviors and toxic ways that we hold on to relationships. And so she was ignoring the red flags, just as I did, just as I think so many women do. Just ignore the red flags and keep going. But you could really see, like, how much the guy was so much like her dad, and all the lessons there. Like, to me, there was like a whole release of being able to see, like, how her mom got into that mess, and that there's a lot, like, when you start going into the experience without judgment, like, and that took time for me to learn too. When I was young, I was super, super judgy towards my mom. But then the universe starts showing me, like, you don't want to be judgmental about things. You've got to get off of judgment. Like, they've just been showing me shit for a long time. A long time. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that I didn't hold on to and were angry and mad, and, like, I had guidance through all that helped me go through, let go of things, helped me see things more in different perspectives. So I didn't get stuck. Like, I know a lot of people get stuck, but you can work through it. You don't have to remain stuck, but you got to connect to your guidance. And when people aren't connected to their guidance, I just oftentimes think they've just got a lot of dark energy that's causing interference. And so it's good to, you got to detox. That's mentally, everything is mind, body, spirit, because it all works together. And so you got to mentally be detaching and letting go of things, letting go of the past parts of yourself, the past characters you've played, the parts of yourself where you were out trying to find yourself, like all these different parts of you that you've got to let go of and accept, not be in judgment of. And when you can get into that place of not judging yourself and not being down on yourself, then you can pull in somebody who's good for you. Until then, you're pulling in people who are there to teach you lessons, teach you not to judge people, teach you like a lot of lessons that people don't understand. But all of those people who are coming in are there to teach you. None of them are there to be your love connection for life. And for each of the people, they all have their own lessons too. But we get caught up in thinking, just like the girl in the movie, just like I did, that this is like this magical meeting. It must be, my true love. But you just don't realize that it's the person who's there to teach you to love yourself until you reach the point of loving yourself. Then once you reach the point of loving yourself, then to me is like you set your standard at a certain place. It's like, no, this is the standard. There's no reason to, it's not like I'm out shopping around. I already know, the I already know I have a match. I have a vibrational match. And at the right time, the vibrational match will meet somehow. Something will happen. And that is like shown in so many movies. I totally believe in that. And I've experienced it. I've experienced that a lot of times. Something will happen. You know, I mean, you know, it can be a lot of different things. You know, the person could say something like, could be anything. So, you know, I just know things go in that direction when it's the time it's supposed to go in that direction. But everybody's always out looking for something. They're searching for something. And they're generally searching for something to make them feel better. Like they just want to feel better. They want to feel connected. They want to feel happy. They want to feel like somebody cares about them. But that is where you got to go out and learn to do that stuff for yourself. Learn about how to care for yourself. Learn about how to love yourself. And I'm not saying every single person who is married is, you know, married to the wrong person. You know, there's all different kinds of relationships. Every relationship is going to have things that you're going to have to work on. I think when you know, like when you're in a higher vibrational relationship, you just don't have like I think it has to do like with how you treat each other. Like I think it has to do with a lot of things, you know, and even in any relationship that you have where you really care about the person and stuff, because not every relationship is all toxic. Then you can develop and do better in your communication and your behaviors towards each other, breaking patterns, recognizing patterns and toxic behaviors that you have with each other. Like you can fix that kind of stuff. Like that is kind of what it's there for. It's like, so you have a partner to learn and to grow and to help you heal and develop. In toxic relationships, nobody trusts the other one. Like everybody thinks that you're trying to fuck them over. You're trying to say that you've got nothing wrong. It's all my fault. Like all these kinds of patterns are in more toxic relationships. Nothing's ever your fault. It's always their fault. It's the same with them. Everything is your fault. There's no connection. There's always in times of separation or not speaking, fighting, angry. You don't know how to speak to each other. You're just not on the same wavelength. You're just in two different vibrations, and you're in your own worlds, going through your own experience, learning and growing your own stuff. So the more that you can connect with the person and be present, like you can build spiritual relationships. Doesn't mean your relationship has to be perfect. It just means when things aren't going right or when you're having problems, is a different approach. You don't blame each other. You would take on your responsibility for your own feelings. How you feel is your responsibility. And you take time and reflection to understand your feelings. Why do you feel the way you do? What can you change about the way you feel? What you can go deeper into it to try and understand yourself. Like, where did I get here? Like, why do I feel this way? Like, can I release it? Can I let it go? And that is always like where you can backpedal backward, go back in your life, back to the place and find the origination point so that you can release it, so you can let go of this old traumas and stuff that keeps you in a reactive state, that when somebody does or says something, a certain thing, that it pushes that reaction in you. And this is how the universe works, is it brings people into your life that are going to push those buttons, because that's what they're there for. They're there for you to go through the process to heal yourself, to get yourself into alignment with yourself before you go out and just go and start some relationship. But through our toxic society, we have just all adapted to just, you know, let's just pair up. And then, complain and complain. Because I swear to God, most of my pairings, even with girls, like all my friends, like I think that my friendships were just as toxic as any of my other relationships. I feel like all of my relationships were very toxic. And I put it all back towards boundaries and trying to please others, you know, staying around people who, you know, like you're not in alignment with them. Also, to me and, different other people, like in the weirdo group, like we were limited. Like there did have a big feeling of like we had to adapt in order to be accepted into the world. Like we had to kind of just fit in. And so, and everybody else was like all kind of speaking the same language. So there was a part of that. Uh, Um, if you didn't do that, then you were just, completely alone, which is not, it's not bad. I like being alone. I think it is, I think there's so many good things about being alone. Like there's so many healing things. There's so many things where there is no confusion. Because in relationships, there is so much confusion over, what's yours and what's mine. And that's why it's, the more that you can fine tune it and really be able to really understand yourself and see as soon as you have a trigger that it is your responsibility. It's your emotions. It's what you're carrying. It's your baggage and it's your business. So it's your business to go deal with and heal and try and figure it out. It's not somebody else's. The other day I was watching the girls, the bus come, and so I was standing outside with the dogs and stuff till their mom got home, and they were jumping on the trampoline, and they started arguing with each other, and one of them, she was saying, "Well, you hurt my feelings, and you shouldn't say that because." You should be more caring about my feelings and blah, blah, blah. He's going through this whole thing. And, I think that's kind of like what kids are being taught. I think that's why we have like such a weird thing going on with, everybody hurting everybody's feelings because you don't say the right thing. And so I said, what would even be better is if you don't let other people's view bother you. Like whatever she thinks, then you don't let it bother you so that it has no effect on you. Then that frees you. So you aren't affected by what somebody else thinks. I think I said it a lot better. I feel like I'm just kind of talking in circles right now. I feel so dozy. And this weird weather. And we went out for a walk and it definitely feels like that kind of like, do they drug us again? It is weird outside, like the weather. It was supposed to be nice. I thought it was going to be nice, and then we were going to start having all this rain, but nope. Now it's cold as shit, even though they say it's 51. It feels like it's like 30. I had to put on so much extra clothes to go outside. And then this weird overcast, whatever it is, and and then it's supposed to start raining sometime today, or tonight, and then rain for a week or something. And I had to cover my car with plastic too, because it keeps leaking inside my car. So now it's going to go into another week of rain. I will have to go too, because I got to go get that mammogram during that period of time. So I'll have to go do that next week. And I didn't wash my hair. This is like, I just don't know. It just does it so fast. It's like, keep going in and try and wash it every time. Like I wash it, and it'll be clean, and then it just starts seeping this stuff out. And I was like, oh, fuck it. It's like, I think I've got to get used to just, this is what my hair is supposed to be like or something. I don't know. Like, I don't get it. There's so much of this stuff is like just trying to figure it out. Or, I don't know. Maybe we'll know more about some of the stuff. Maybe it's in the CIA hidden documents, how we can clean our hair. Is our hair even real? Like, is anything real? I don't think so. It's all an illusion. So, but, but let me think. There was like something else that I was about to start saying when I said that. Is it some with the, man, I feel tired. Food or sky, or did I finish talking about that movie, which was really, really, I thought it was really good. I thought it showed so much stuff so accurately. And then it had so many cool spiritual things too. There was other things that were like, I thought had a deeper significance. One of the things too in the movie that I thought was sad, it brought up the crimes, so many crimes that have been done against Indigenous women. Is heartbreaking. Like, just like in one of the storylines, a woman who she was together with a white guy, and I don't know, I think they got married or whatever, if they were just a couple, and then they had kids. And then I think if they started fighting or something, if she was going to break up or something. But anyway, so he got to take the kids because he was white. So the court said, he could take the kids. And I was like, oh my God, how much has that gone on to people? Like, God, the criminal shit that has gone on in this world. That, taking people's kids and stuff. Like, that is a whole thing. Oh, yeah, and that 140-year-old lady, she's out doing more podcasts and stuff, and she does not look old at all. I am not shitting you. Oh, wait, no, that was, okay, that was the 100, no, that was the 70, yeah, there's a 72-year-old lady. She looks kind of like the 140-year-old lady, but the 140-year-old lady, she does look older. She doesn't look, the 72-year-old lady, she does not look. She does not, I mean, she looks 40. She does not look old at all. But what was it that I was seeing her on? Because I think that they're both, the 140-year-old lady, she's in Jamaica. And she is all about, like, mineral and healthy stuff. This other lady, I think that she was like the same kind of thing. I can't remember what all she was saying. That was weird. Like, I don't remember even how I started seeing the other one. But anyways, the one who, she's going around talking about healthy stuff and doing podcasts and stuff. And she is 72 or something. I can't believe how young she looks. So I'm telling you, this whole thing, aging is not real. And then when you start really seeing the thing with people and aging, it's like people want it to be real because it's like they're tired of trying. They're tired of trying. Like, and the thing is too, is like people think like they've got to try so hard, like to be in shape or something. It's like, no, I think it really just has to do with stop thinking that you need to eat all the time. I think that's where they got people tricked. I don't think that people don't need to eat so much. And they have people thinking that they need to eat all the time. And then they're mad at themselves that they can't eat all this food. And then plus all the toxic bullshit. Like, people make so much really like poisonous kind of food. Like, I just saw another one where she was I see these recipes all day on TikTok and stuff. What was it? It was something. Oh, it was a cookie one. It was just a cookie one, but it had so many different, like, it was called birthday cake cookies or something. So it had all this like festive stuff in it. I was like, oh my God. Just look at how our society just thinks like, oh, that's good. Go eat those. It's like, that is so full of poisons and toxins. And then people want to try and understand, like, why are they sick? Why are they overweight? Why do they not feel good? So is that surrender? It's like a choice. It's like that going to the dark or the light. You go towards like, well, I want to feel better and I want to be in good shape and I want to take good care of myself. So I do feel better. So I'm going to go into this like power move towards my health. Or I'm just going to go into, well, I feel bad. Well, I'm aging. Well, that's just the way it is. Well, you got to be able to eat what you want. And, and then people eat a bunch of garbage. They drink a lot of, I don't know. I think a lot of people drink a lot of calories. They drink a lot of these big coffee drinks. Some of those coffee drinks are like your whole day's calorie intake. It's like that you shouldn't even have any more calories for the whole day. And then they wonder like, well, why do I keep gaining weight? Because those drinks have a huge amount of calories and then they don't fill you up. So you're not even full. So, and some of them, a lot of people, this is another thing too, is like people who, a lot of women who, like when they wanted to be thin, it wasn't because they wanted to be healthy. Like a lot of women who made the choice to be thin, it was like, oh, I just want to be skinny and I don't care about my health, so I'm just going to starve myself. I'm not going to eat. I'm going to drink a lot of coffee, probably smoke some cigarettes, and starve myself all day long, and so I can be skinny. And really, that is putting yourself into, what is that called? It's like, you're manifesting lack. You're creating lack. And so by sitting there and focusing on starving yourself, like putting yourself through health problems or whatever. And so, but then you got to think of like, for what? To be skinny for what? For who? Because if it doesn't have to do with your health or making you better for you, then what are you trying to do? Who are you trying to please? Why are you trying to please them? And why are you going against your own self? And then so much of women's ideas of themselves became from this beauty standard. This beauty standard that was created. This morning for a second I put on this movie, but then I went and finished that show. But it was a movie. It had William Powell, which I love him. And then it had Shelley Winters. And in old movies, like she was hot. She was super skinny. She still kind of had that weird voice. But she was, like, I think that's how you can kind of recognize her. But I was just like, man, while all this stuff going on with the Nickelodeon and stuff, I was like, man, she was so cute. How much trauma did she probably experience is why she started putting on weight. And then when she started putting on weight, how they started shaming her and making her feel bad. I was thinking, man, this, that industry is so toxic to so many people. And plus I think that they aged a whole bunch of people just to sell their story. Like they made them sick and old and just to sell the story of aging. Because I don't know. I can't think aging is real when I start taking minerals and it starts going backwards. Like the things that I thought I was experiencing aging, and it started going backwards. So that, I mean, it seems clear to me. Like aging is made up. It's fake. And there's more too. There's like so much more. Everything in this place. There's so much. There's so many things, and there's just so much, and it's so broad of all the different ways and levels that you can look at everything. It all and it all kind of has to do with you. Like your level of how you need to look at things is there. Like everything is there for you on your path to grow and to heal. It just is kind of like people look in the wrong directions. They get caught up in stuff. Like I'm sure like right now, so many people are like all caught up in Revelations. Like those people are going hard on, this is biblical. It's all about to end. And this Jesus is coming and all this stuff. Well, that was another weird one too. What was that one? Jesus. Well, I mean, there's so many different things. Like you could get caught up in any of this stuff. What people talk about. Like a lot of people think it's like the end. It's the end times. There's going to be volcanoes, earthquakes. There's going to be land mass changes and stuff. But you got to remember, like, that's just what the earth does. It's just moving around. That doesn't mean it's the end. This is a transformation. And then besides, it's just the earth cycle. It's just a cycle. And we're going into the light. And I swear to God, part of the resistance is the dark. The hold that the dark has over people. It keeps people trapped in the dark where they can't think that anything can get better. Nothing will get better. Everything is going to stay the same. It's because they're all just trapped in the dark. The dark has their minds where they can't think outside the box. They can't look at positive. They can't look at like possibilities and think like things are going to get better, but they're going to get way, way better. Like everything is going to get way better, not just like a little bit better. It's going to get way better. And we're like right on the precipice of change. It's like we're right on the verge. Like something is going to happen. Like something is going to put us over the edge. It's going to be sad because it's going to be traumatic for sure. And people are going to be sad and people, are already so confused. I don't know. It's so weird. There's like, it's just weird to me. Like to see these people who are like waiting for Jesus. They believe everything's devils. There's devils in people. Like, I don't know. It's just like so primitive. Like people have a big jump. It is going to be like a quantum leap. This is going to be like a quantum leap in their understanding of who and what they are and what they're doing here and why they're here. And I think a lot of people are going to feel like they spent their whole life being lost. But really, you did exactly what you were supposed to do. Everybody does exactly what they're supposed to do. You can't do it wrong. But what you need to learn how to do is process it and allow it and to witness it and to just be it. Don't be so much like, so many people are just like, oh, they did this wrong, they did that wrong. Oh, yeah, and that show too, because it gets said like, well, if you just would have done this, then possibly this other outcome could have happened. No, they even, for them to say that in movies and stuff, it's impossible. There's nothing that you can do wrong. There's nothing that you can do to make a wrong outcome or right outcome. Everything has the outcome that is supposed to come. And that is the outcome that you are here to experience, to witness, to grow from. So everything is the way it's supposed to be. Whatever you've done, it's about you being able to see yourself, witness yourself, learn from it, not be thinking that you should have done it different so you didn't have to experience what you're experiencing. No, you have to experience what you're experiencing. That's what you're here for. So there's no getting around it. And then you're wasting time. Well, if I just would have done this, if I just would have thought that sooner, if I just would have, all that is just a waste of time. You're wasting energy. You're wasting, what you just need to focus on. Releasing, letting go of things, looking at them deeper, and just moving through, not being so caught up. It's so self-indulgent, self-pity, poor me. And that is so heavy in our society right now. It's something big that has to be purged out. And it is coming out through sickness and broken relationships and all different kinds of broken relationships. It can be marriage, mother, daughter, husband, son, all different ones. So anyways, but it's all stuff that all the different souls are like purging and releasing and letting go of. And, it is so curious though. Like, I don't know. There's just a lot of dependency on faith or something. Like the needing their version of what God is. And then they'll constantly be referencing the resource. You need to know it by the numbers. Like it's numbered. So I don't know. There's a lot of a lot of, there's a lot of stuff that has to still play out. And it is so curious though to see like, what is it that's going to shift these people to see different, like to think more expansively, think more outside the box. Like they're all so limited in how they think. Maybe it will be something like really magnificent in the sky. Maybe the sky's going to open up and we're going to see more planets. Firmament's going to bust. But I don't know. I mean, you sit there trying to figure it out all day long. All I know is whatever's going to be next is just the next thing that's going to be. And it's just going to keep going and going and going and going until we get to the place where we're going to end up being. And we're ways from it. We are ways from where we're going to end up being. So there is a lot of things that still have to play out. I just know that there is a great place ahead. That this is just the stuff that we have to endure. The weather to get through. To get to the other side. To get to the place where it will be like heaven on earth. Where you can experience, you know, joy and happiness and connection. All things that have been escaping a lot of people's experience. So there will be a lot of good things to come. But, you know, we still have some travels to get there. And there's still so much rocky stuff with all of the different experiences. And I think it is like just as a challenge to not get caught up in the polarity is coming to my mind, but also the chaos, the magnitude of everything going on. And I swear to God, shit is about to really get crazier in those cities. Like they are just building it to, it's going to be bad. But there's been, like, I think, you know, so many of us have been saying the big cities are going to be horrible. There's going to be horrible shit. It's going to go down. There's going to be a lot of crime, a lot of bad stuff. And that is going to be, you know, it's a part of the whole shift. It's part of how things have to happen. Man, there's all these different souls, you know, playing out roles that have been, you know, stationary throughout time, that this is a time to complete a circuit. So there's a lot of completions and experiences that are, you know, finishing so that the people can heal and like wrap. It's like a wrap party. It's like cleaning up everything and going in a new direction, but still like we're still in the part where people haven't even gotten to that. Even though there's a lot of people who have been working on themselves, there's still like such a big part to go. Because once that is kind of like mainstream, where everybody talks about it, like it's going to be a very different, like when everybody is like talks about healing and is focused on healing, and like our society will have a different flow. And so it will be like you'll see new sides of yourself because it's going to be going in a different direction. So anyways, I don't know if that makes sense. So I don't know if I'm even making any sense. I swear. It's like, feels like tired to the point of like having a headache. And my eyes keep bothering me. I even got this little tuning fork out. And I decided I'm going to just keep holding it up and doing these little vibration. Like one thing I noticed yesterday too is this eye, the one that keeps getting the breakout of botulism breakout, that this is the eye that has the worst with the vision. I was noticing it has like a lot of things, like it's blurry and but it's closing in. This is the one where I don't have this, it has blind spots. Like when you go in and they start checking you for glaucoma. Mine is from the brain injury. Which that doctor, you know, how he was like, you know, like some inorganic brain injury or whatever. I don't remember. This is what all the doctors are always saying. Unknown origin. yeah, it's always an unknown origin. Because they can't just say that my brain was getting crushed. And anyways, but damaged my eyes. And this one, so they say it's like glaucoma because it damages the optic nerve. But this one is where I got limited. Like this one is closing in. Like this one has got more problems. And now I'm thinking, I wonder how much of it has to do with this other stuff. Like how much stuff is really going on around this eye. Like, I bet you it was back around the time when I even got the Botox. It's probably around when I got the brain injury, because I was going in that superficial, artificial direction. So anyways, yeah, the universe will push you back. Well, the universe is going to put you where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. If you're going in the wrong direction, the universe will let you know. The universe will knock you down. It will keep putting barriers up. It will keep pushing you where it wants you to go. But you got to get used to reading the signs and understanding the language that's going on between you and your guidance. So anyways, that's all I can say about it. Besides the fact that you need to love yourself and love everyone and have a loving day. And hopefully tomorrow I'll be back and won't feel so tired. So I'll talk to you then. Bye.